I hate the 8th of March. I don't hate the International Women's Rights Day, but I definitely hate the 8th of March, or like the equivalent of this holiday, or what it morphed into in Russia. It's really absurd to hear wishes of being pretty, reaching the real women's happiness, or having good mood and like a good spring vibe when we don't have all the rights that men enjoy. I don't understand. And when you kind of protest that and say, oh no, thank you, I think I would like to celebrate the International Women's Rights Day. I like to celebrate when people become more equal and when women make dollar for dollar as men, and the list goes on, maternity leave, etc. And people kind of get offended at that. Or when women in Russia, or Russian women abroad who have moved, get offended at my wishes to them of being respected irregardless of their gender, of making as much as men make in their position, of being respected regardless if they are pretty that day or old or young. I'm not wearing makeup today to just celebrate the fact that you should be respected and you should be regarded as a professional and as a worthy individual, regardless how you freaking look like. Like, how does this not make sense? And when I get the cards with a bunch of flowers and a cringy song and balloons and pink stuff that says something like, women, they're so fragile, but we still love them. Oh, you're the flowers of our lives. Continue to be so inspiring and so pretty. I can't roll my eyes enough. And it's really hard to, like, of course I don't react negatively if it was like an aunt or some old coworker. But the problem is, it's hard to not react negatively, and I don't know what to say because I don't want to say thank you. I want to say fuck that. I want my rights. And women can react negatively if I do wish them that they have the rights. They could say no, thank you. I prefer, this day to be a celebration of being pretty and being a woman and being a muse and all of the things that femininity represents. And there's nothing wrong with celebrating femininity, but you can choose another holiday for that if you wish, and include all the people who consider themselves female to be celebrated that day if they want to. What's wrong with that? This day is already an International Women's Rights Day. We don't have a lot of holidays that celebrate rights in general. Like, there's the Indigenous Peoples Day after Columbus Day that I'm glad more people are celebrating now. I wonder why the hell is it not a federal holiday, and why is the murderer and rapist and thief Columbus, who came to the country and just killed a bunch of people and took the gold back to Spain, why is he celebrated instead? Yeah, there's lots of questions, and it's especially sad that more women in post-Soviet countries kind of rolled back their feminism. In the Soviet, everybody was equal, right? Women had more rights, which is why countries in the Western world had to give women rights so that there are no protests and so that the communist revolution doesn't happen, because they saw what happened in the Soviet. People demanded equality. People demanded education, not just for the rich, but for everybody. Like, the majority of the country, I think over 70%, couldn't read and write. And during the Soviet, that right of education and healthcare and shelter was given to all people. We're not going to talk about like, yay, Soviet, you did a great job and how you did it, but I'm just saying people in the West looked at that and I think the folks in power thought, if we don't give women rights, we're gonna have some problems here. We're gonna have a lot more protests and maybe a revolution. Let's not do that. Let's give women rights. So the West has proceeded, and the suffrage movement and all of that, they have proceeded in giving women more rights, while post-Soviet collapse, the wild capitalism here did kind of what you can see now is happening to women. The patriarchy and the wild capitalism kind of started putting women back in their place slowly by those nice and soft things, such as like, oh, you're so pretty, and oh, congrats on, I don't know, being a mother, and I wish you the real feminine happiness on the days like 8th of March. And women started getting offended at demanding rights, because if you demand rights, you demand to be equal, men might be intimidated or offended. They're not going to like it probably, right? Because a lot of men see it as the rights taken away from men and given to women, even though it doesn't necessarily work that way. But women don't want to be in the position of not seen as like a potentially desired object here, so they just take the bullet of, let me just shut up and be pretty and maybe somebody will marry me, rather than, oh, let me just demand my rights and equal pay, and if I find somebody worthy enough, then I might get into a relationship with them. It's really sad, because I do feel like in the Soviet it was different. When you look at the movies, when you look at all of the books and other pieces of cultural heritage that we have left over, it's vastly different than it is now. Like feminism is taking huge leaps back year after year here now in Russia, rather than what's happening in the West, I feel like, because there women have to fight for their rights slowly. There wasn't just one like equalizing revolution that said, hey, everybody's equal, we're good. So of course women had to work for their rights even then, but a lot less than under capitalism, of course. So anyways, the reason I'm recording this video is I've gotten way too many congrats on being a woman, and wishes to be feminine. Like, look at me, am I the most feminine woman you know? I didn't get a single wish to be strong, to be good at what I do, to become a better human being, to contribute more to the causes that are important to me, and to make dollar for dollar with men. Not a single one. I sent some of those to girls and usually got bad reactions. Some reactions from like my aunt or my cousin were like, this is the most interesting congratulation card that I got today. But yeah, let me know what you think of the International Women's Rights Day and how to celebrate somebody's rights without like offending the people who already have those rights, if we should worry about that at all. I do see that the rights of minorities and immigrants and women are being rolled back in the US a lot now, based on what is happening after the recent election. And it's kind of wild to see, like, the International Women's Rights Day has been erased from Google's calendar. Google, which I thought was kind of a little bit better than Facebook and Meta, but you never know. When there is a liberal president, then rainbows everywhere and let's celebrate women. And when there's somebody who doesn't want you to do that, you just remove the Women's Rights Day from the calendar. Super weird. I've been using a different web search for years now. It's called DuckDuckGo. It's not a sponsored video, but It's just a search that doesn't index how you search and use your IP to sell you any kind of ad, and it doesn't sell your personal information. So yeah, I've been using that instead of Google because I don't want for them to profit off of my data in any way. But yeah, how do we fight for our rights now that the playing ground has been rolled against our favor? I think that's a question with which I want to finish this video. Let me know if you have any good thoughts, and fight for your rights, gals and guys, if your rights are not respected wherever you are. Alright, this was Katya, the vegan powerlifter. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe and leave a comment to support my channel. See you later.